I want to welcome you all back to another Spruce Stomper adventure. These trees are a smidgen bigger than the last ones we got. Step into the danger. I have no idea what these weigh. The machine that put them on here was much bigger. I could only fit 2. There's lots more to get. Cottonwood tree. And I talked to a gentleman that said in the absence of good cedar trees, way back in the days before modern transportation, folks would make canoes out of a cottonwood tree. So you never know what we might get up to here. Let's see if the old Kubota's got it in her. Don't want to hurt a family member, you know? Gotta treat her with respect. All right, I'll tell you this much for free. I don't know what it weighs, but you know when you run something or drive something, you just get a feel for its capabilities? We're at the limit as to which I would risk my tractor. I only have the one, so these big logs, they're not making the trek to the log deck. They're gonna get their own private location right here because I'm only moving those around a few inches off the ground, and that's about it. And as for this next one, it's even bigger. We might even just roll that off the trailer. I was gonna cut those at 14 feet. I'm glad I went 12. Well, I guess all we can do is try. Holy smokes. I don't think so. Gee, that's hard on the trailer deck. Good thing we know a guy with a sawmill, eh? Maybe he could replace the deck at some point. Already go and run. Can you believe that? It's like somebody left it out in the rain. Take that so it doesn't end up in the windshield. If you've never been in a tractor that feels like it's gonna flip over, it's not how you think it's gonna happen. If you look, when you think of a vehicle rolling over, you think of this, right? No, a tractor wants to go like this way because it pivots right here. The bigger diameter and the smaller diameter, it wants to roll this way ahead It's a horrifying feeling. Even just when it's just tipping up off the ground. Yeah, like I'd say, see that bulge? We're cutting all the next ones way shorter. This was the biggest one. But anyways, test run it. Even if you have just a little tractor, pick up something heavy that's a little offset and just feel how it feels. It's 6 inches off the ground. And then once that's locked in your memory block, you will never forget that feeling. And you will definitely go out of your way to avoid it. It's happened to me a couple times with this tractor, and it's bad news bears. Let's get this weight off. It's making me nervous. Yes. See that tire now? Oh no. When you get out of the tractor, park brake, right? Safety. But yeah, so now that tire's back to normal. Nothing's leaking. Nothing's pointed in a weird direction. We're gonna run the calculation on that. I still got the chart, 5 foot diameter base on a cottonwood tree. Green as green can be. Like that was a live tree a few weeks ago. Yeah, well, Kubota 1, log 0. Let's hit the road and get another load. I can't film the other end, but you know, you can hang out with me. So yeah, canoe, I don't know what to do with a cottonwood tree. Free wood is free wood, man, and you get cracking. So let's get cracking. All right, back with load number 2. We got a little kitty wampus here, but you know, you can't win them all. We're loading them with a, why am I blanking out? In my opinion, the red-headed stepchild of equipment, a backhoe. A backhoe? I'm not a backhoe guy. I had a backhoe one time, and you don't see it here anymore. But he's got a clamshell bucket. So he just crunches these, loads them on. We got a little, well, a little briskier with the second load. Definitely heavier than the first, but it took up less real estate. Look at this beauty. Look at this beauty. Like for reference, you know, that's how big we're talking. You know, there's my foot. That's a foot. And we got a ways to go. And just beautiful. Look at, they peel easy. See that? Like, and I'll tell you that, like, I don't know, you won't be able to see probably, but that's wet. Glistening. I'll tell you. And there's more to go. He doesn't want it in his yard, right? So he's quite a salesman. He's trying to, come on, take some more. I cut up some firewood while I was standing there waiting for him to load. I thought, oh, I'll just keep cutting, because the rest of it's for firewood. But he says, hey, every block you cut, you got to take. I was like, I shut the saw off. Not that I don't want firewood. The guy is strapped for time. See, like there's firewood to cut right there. I do own a chainsaw mill. I actually have access to quite a lot of chainsaw milling stuff. More on that in the future. We could do that big one. I don't know why I keep pointing. I'm a hands talker. Let's get unloaded. I put that on time-lapse mode. It just doesn't feel like a time-lapse kind of day, you know? It just, I don't know. Have you ever edited? Have you ever tried to edit a time-lapse? Because you do have to edit a time-lapse from time to time. It's boring. Like, it's like watching paint dry type of boring. Well, what are we in here? This is turtle. This is more of a rabbit operation. There we go. Moderate rabbit. First gear rabbit. You still have to edit a time lapse because, you know, you stop, you start it, and exhausting. Then you gotta like, I gotta pick out music for the time lapse. You're like, why do I have to pick out music for a time lapse? I don't even want to do a time lapse. So here we are, real time. Right into the wood deck. Somebody put it really close to the bank here, you know, so basically you could always just run the risk of falling over the bank, because that's fun. Oh, good. That's a good start. I malfunctioned already. Well, I don't think that's probably not millable. The whole design of the deck I cooked up here is junk. I spaced the logs wrong. I put them in the wrong spot. They're too close to the bank. But you know when I realized that? After I had dumped a ton of wood on them already, and I was like, you know what? Away she goes. So. It's hugging her tight there. I want to kind of keep. I'm trying to keep the log deck as tight as possible. It's not in any particular order. Oh. Or by, why am I holding it so wonky? Sorry about that. Or by species or anything. It's just simply, I want to take up the least amount of real estate possible. And, this is going to sound silly, I think it just looks more fun the higher the log deck is, right? Yeah, it gives you a feeling that it's a little bit bigger, you know? Well, load number 3 looks a lot like load number 2. See, he really wants me to take everything. Snuck that little short one in there. I said, that's not a saw log. He says, you cut it, you take it. I'll tell you, funny dude. I guess I shouldn't say I couldn't film the other end. I never even asked him. But the camera slows things down. And when you're dealing with folks from the older generation, I'll tell you, they know how to get things done. He's giving her. I get back there, logs are pulled out, I buck him, he loads them, and he's like, yeah, he said, I'm talking too much. He says, hey, get in the truck, get out of here, unload, get back here, get another. So we better get cracking, hate to disappoint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. I'll show you the stack. It's looking beautiful. In the comments, if you have any suggestion outside of carving out 17 canoes, which, let's face it, you've followed the channel long enough, it might be doubtful that I'd even complete one. What do you do with cottonwood? The name implies that it is light. It is not. So, I mean, we've kind of kept it species sorted here. I kind of wanted to mix it together to force myself to just grab whatever and get to milling. But the spruce, we're getting more of that. We have a project here at home base planned for that. A little more timber framing. I got to get more of it though. That's in July, I think. The plan, it sounds like, we're going to have a little bit of a chainsaw equipment work bee get-together is what I'm hoping for. The guys that watch the channel that would be involved in this, they know who they are. We should do that. Are you listening, gentlemen? We should get together and move some spruce trees down by the lake. But we got the birch. I think that's going to tie into the timber frame project in the realm of tongue and groove. Baby, spruce stumper needs a planer. Definitely 8 foot's the way to go. 8'6". Give yourself that clearance on the end, because just in case, you know, you don't square them off that good. And the suit mix is performing flawlessly. I pulled that out, and the gentleman that's the house I'm at, he's gonna laugh at me, eh? He looks at this thing. First thing people do when they see the soup mix is they come up and they read the label. And they're like, sup mix? And I was like, hey, so I told him the backstory. I said, you know, I bought it as a joke. Turned out pretty good, right? I had it sharpened up real good. And it's I think that's how those work. They run real good out of the box, and they'll probably run real good until they just don't run at all anymore. But I brought 2 saws. Always bring 2. Any guy that shows up with 1 saw, I mean, it's a chainsaw. Oh yeah, reliability and all this crap. It is a 2-stroke engine going at a wild RPM. You need 2 just in case. You don't want to get broke down partway through the job. Anyways, I showed him I brought a good saw too. Wow, I mean, the soup mix is good, but I brought a steel saw as well. He's like, oh yeah. I said, yeah, but this one was like $130 or whatever it was, you know. Super skeptical. I bucked up all these big cottonwood trees so far, and he's kind of like, so where'd you say you got that from? Not that I'm gonna encourage it, right? Buy local, all that good stuff, but oh, she's a head turner. The blue and white one, the red and black one, missing in action. I can't remember where I left it. I did look this morning. It's not outside. I would never leave a tool abandoned outside, but I don't know where it is. Well, it was supposed to be like 1 or 2 loads when I originally went and looked. I think we ended up with like 7 or 8 loads. I kind of didn't count. Definitely didn't film because you can imagine it was a lot of the same deal, but this is the last one. Look at those beauties. They're huge. And there are 2 there that I couldn't even take. I didn't even put the tape measure on them. They're huge. Standing beside him, they're about up to my belly button. He couldn't lift them. Well, I think he could lift them with his machine, sort of. I definitely can't lift them here. So I got to figure out a better plan, because I do want to take them. I don't want to involve anything to do with milling or nothing at his place. So I got to figure out a better way to get them here and unloaded. But anyways, that's a story for another day. Look at that. And these are all big too. Like, there's my foot. Like, they're decent. These are all decent size. Nice. What's on the trailer, I'm not sure I can lift either. Might just have to roll those ones off. And I'm just making this up as I go, eh? One adventure after another. There was a bit of backstory on how these trees came to be. Real nice piece of property, but super residential. If you watch the channel for any length of time, you know that I'm not much of a town guy, but he's kind of got his own little oasis, a little paradise tucked in amongst suburbia. It's not an overly nice neighborhood. His place is real nice, keeps it up real nice. Big old cotton trees lining the property line. Well, what do you think caused the trees to fall down? It wasn't Mother Nature, wind, bugs. You'd guess those first. Bitchy neighbors. They picked at this guy on and off, pick, right? Take a tree down. Oh, I got a new boat and your tree's dripping sap on it and whatever. Town people stuff. So he ended up taking down a few, and a few led to a few more. And at the end of the day, he said they took down 53 trees. He said, finally, done with it. Take them all down. Now, granted, he did say that they made quite a bit of mess. Cottonwood tree, if you hadn't already guessed, it has leaves on it, right? So leaves fall, quite a task, he said, you know, dealing with that stuff, especially the older a guy gets, I imagine. So he wasn't overly sad to see him go, but just the neighbor thing, you know? Just the neighbor thing. Like, just the way it went down and how he told the story, or like, what happened to the days where if you had a little bit of trouble with somebody, you'd just come over and you would talk to them. No, they went and they talked to the city officials. I hate to break it to you. Your local government, whether it's a city or a regional district or whatever else they call them, wherever you're from, there's nothing official about these people. They're just regular people, more than likely, that bid their way up into these higher positions, not based on their merit. Oh, the bugs came out. or their know-how or their knowledge. That's just how government works. You start out at the bottom, and whether you do a good job or a bad job, you climb up a little bit of a ladder, and then you end up in a position of authority, and people are phoning you, and you're going, you have to cut down your trees, and you have to move your boat, and you can't build that, and you can't do this, can't. The less you involve these folks, the better off your life will be. So if you're having trouble with a neighbor, go over and just have a chat with him. Chances are he's a hell of a nice guy, which is the case. Made a new friend, got some beautiful material here. I don't know what we're gonna do with it, make out of it. Maybe it'll sit here so long that it will become firewood. I doubt it, but I don't know. It's just, there's resolutions to things, and tattletaling on each other is for little kids. It's not for grown-ups. So if you got a problem with your neighbor and you're watching this video, what you're gonna wanna do is go right over to the neighbor's house, and if you need an icebreaker, you tell them to subscribe to the Spruce Stomper YouTube channel, because we're just one adventure after the next, usually involving trees, it seems. What's worse that could happen? We'll catch you on the next one when we do something or other in some unspecific order, not in the mosquitoes. Thanks for watching.